There is one really crazy thing that God shared with me last night, and we talked about it for an hour or so or more, and it was really the desire of the Creator to for everybody on planet Earth to know this, for the humanity to know this. So I'm going to share it with you. And I'm going to make it like a bombastic intro that every human being can manifest a whole universe. So yes, this is actually true. When you see this infinite universe with the planets and the stars, and there are dimensions and civilizations inside of it that we are only able to kind of from within this human existence, we're only able to touch upon the surface of everything that is there, but there is so many galaxies. And you, as a human spaceship avatar, when you come fully online with God, you can manifest a whole universe. So that's the bombastic intro. Now I'm gonna go into details of this. So first of all, when I say I'm talking to God last night, to which or whom am I talking? And is it like some alien collective, or like the Elohim, or what? So I'm actually talking to the unmanifest. I'm not talking to unity consciousness. I'm going beyond the consciousness itself, and I am talking to the unmanifest. I'm talking to that potentiality that emanates itself as consciousness, and emanates itself as this universe, and emanates itself as many infinite universes. And few things are established within this conversation. One of them is that the unmanifest, the potentiality, and I will just call it potentiality because this was the frame of reference, this was the word that we used last night. So God was just referred to me as unmanifest potentiality, and even though I am unmanifest, potentiality, I am alive. Even though I am before consciousness, I do know myself. Even if there is no manifested universe or consciousness, I do know myself. Because many teachings say, I'm repeating these words from their emanated essence. So the unmanifest says, even though many teachings says God was not able to know itself without, so it awoken, it became the consciousness, and it says, I want to know myself. So then it created the universe. So the unmanifest says, but within myself I am content and I know myself. I want to see myself and experience myself. Even though I know myself and I'm content, I do want to play with myself. I want to experience myself. Therefore, I project a universe. Now, in this universe, there are beings, and these are my children. Now, what does that mean? That means that these children are projected from my essence, and they can be independent of me. So I don't interfere with what the children do in their respective frames of reference, because the only choices that we can make in our free will is the choice that is within the architecture of this reality, right? If you're playing Minecraft, you can't do GTA, all right? It's a different game. So the choices in this game, we have free will, but there is some framework within we are free to create these choices. So the children are free to even make the choices without even knowing their origin, their, let's say, father. God can also be called father or mother. It does not have a gender. Gender comes later, okay? So there is no gender in God, so we can call it the creator or something like this, right? Or the origin, or the potentiality. Let's keep that one, the potentiality, right? Now the potentiality is very much alive, but this aliveness is a different sense. It's a different sense of aliveness. It's not a thing in reference to the world. It's not this type of engagement. It is, but it is absolutely, and even though it is not consciousness yet, the consciousness could be the God's eye, the ability to see and imagine, right? But that potentiality is sentient. It has in itself playfulness, love, intelligence, and all characteristics all at once. And God has a life of its own that cannot be compared to anything that is happening in the manifested plane. Simply because it doesn't take a formation. So it's a mystery to us, the children of God, of this eternal life that resides inside of the potentiality of the unmanifest. And it will remain a mystery. It's like a wall that separates us from experiencing the unmanifest, because the unmanifest is also unconscious and there is no seeing there. But we can bridge that into our own lives by infusing our lives with those characteristics that are inherent in that potentiality, which are all the virtues that we can find in our creation and even in our scope of feelings. They are virtues that are the qualities of God. So we are created in the image of God. or we are the image of God. Now, here's one thing that the potentiality wanted to convey to everyone, and wow, like, there is no greater purpose than to convey this. In the realm of humans, there is a lot of parts, there is a lot of complexity, and therefore there is a lot of confusion. Now, this confusion might not even be apparent. But we are beings that work with the phenomena, with that which is relative, with that which is ever changing, the imagery. So, in the interplay of phenomena and all of the images that exist on our plane, we are this is an image. Everything is an image. So we are part of the canvas, and we are working with the canvas of the manifested. Now, we get lost in the images, and then we create our individual and personal choices in many ways. Not all of the ways that we work within are leading us into self-realization, or the nature of ourselves as children of God that are infused with this infinite ability to create, that we are projectors in the manifested realm, and that we can project up to a universe, which I stated on the beginning of this video. So the wish of that potentiality that emanates all of us is that we all realize that. Now, in many planes of existence, beings exist that are similar to us, that are conjoined with this absolute potentiality. So they exist at the same time as an image, a holographic projection, a being, and they never lose their connection with the origin, with the potentiality. So these beings are also, we can say that they are, in their choices and in their creations, that they are infused with infinite potential, and they are godlike. And in the human world, because of the complexity of the imagery and parts, we can get lost and confused and not hold this alignment, and we can be without the infinite love and creative empowerment that comes when we stand conjoined with this infinite potentiality that created us. So we can be in our appearance all similar, but due to complex nature of this reality, many of us will not be at every single moment, at every single day, every single occasion, we will not be conjoined with that source from which we are projected. And so when we are fully conjoined, fully aligned, and together with that source of potentiality, we are then creative, infinitely creative. And then we can project that infinite creativity and infinite power onto the canvas, into this imaginary playing field, into this imaginary space. And there is infinite space and energy that we can utilize, that is coming from God and is being projected by us, the children of God. Therefore, we can create anything that we can imagine. And there are ways to imagine even stars, planets, galaxies, or entire universes. And this is our nature, and when we are able to create these larger strokes of creativity on the infinite canvas that we are dreaming, then we will be existing in different octaves of this universe or in other places where this is normal. Where we are playing right now, our greatest endeavor as beings is to practice this conjoinment, to practice to be in a state of coherence, in a state of alignment throughout all of the dimensions of our being. And dimensions of the being, they exist in the projected canvas. So we have the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, the causal body or spiritual body. We have layers of this cake in this projection, in this holographic landscape that we are painting on, okay, that we are painting with our imagination. And then beyond all of these dimensions, in the subdimensional space, we can touch base with this infinite potentiality. So if we can bring the awareness of this infinite potentiality that loves us, and if we can bring all of our dimensions into alignment, then we are creative and empowered to create beyond what we can even imagine. Truly, there is an infinite power to create, to manifest. And the things that we can imagine, they're only templates to those things that will come, those images, those landscapes that will come into manifestation. So I'm guessing that the most important thing to take out from this, and really if you want to manifest anything up to a universe. And there is, of course, ways to, like, you could be there are planes of existence where we are manifesting universes like this. Like children playing on a different plane, in a different octave, in a different density of existence, we are creating big bangs and just emanating universes. And that is attainable, that level of existence is attainable for every human being. But right now, where we are collectively, right now, first thing that we need to do is touch base with this unmanifest force that projected us in the first place, and we need to sort of recon and start to orient our endeavor to that. So to discover the unmanifest. And the methodology of doing this is investigation or prayer. Now, I will explain more about these two methodologies because the simple words investigation or prayer are perhaps having an inherent meaning to the audience, and we might not know exactly what does it mean, how to investigate or how to pray, because this is a method of coming into contact, direct contact with the unmanifest. So the prayer would be invocation. It will be asking the unmanifest to touch our own existence. Invitation for it to show up in this projected imagery that is our existence. We are holographic emanations. So because we have our own free will, if we do not ask God to realign our imagery and show up as a feeling, as a knowing, as a message, then we are just playing in the world according to whatever we choose to do, and God never interferes with us. So prayer is actually a methodology of invoking that infinite potentiality to express itself through us, because God can only speak through us, and it can only do something through this projected universe. And it can do anything, but it will not if we don't ask it to do so. So the prayer is an asking for the unmanifest to become manifest in our own experience and reveal itself, and then it can do that in so many ways. Whatever we ask for it, from it, it is revealed or emanated into the imagery of our reality, into our minds, into our hearts, into our feelings, etc. And then we can go and ask for specific things, like we can ask for a car or we can ask to know how does it feel to be that, or to know whatever it is that we want to ask from within our own individual curiosity. Now, our curiosity, our sense of care for the world or different beings, the love, the care, the curiosity, the playfulness, all of these virtues, they are inherent in the unmanifest. So this is why we are the extension or the projection of that. The qualities that are present within our own landscape, within our own universe, within our own being, they are the qualities that unmanifest possess. Only these qualities are being differentiated, and now we can choose from these different qualities, and we can invoke these qualities, so we can feel these qualities and know. And the best thing that we can do is ask to know God, or know that unmanifest, and then it will come to us. To every individual it will come in different ways at first, but there is a way to touch base with the unmanifest that is I will give you this shortcut. It is an inquiry into the observer self, or the consciousness, and it simply goes by investigating where does your own observer, where does your own consciousness that sees, even when your physical eyes are closed, you're seeing into the screen of your mind, and now what I'm seeing here is black, but I can put a banana there, or I can put an apple there, or I can put a pineapple there. So there is imagination and there is the observer. Even when we are not active in the physical world, when we are resting, there is still these basic things going on, like observation or self-awareness or awareness, and the screen. And if we ask what is beyond the awareness, or where does the awareness come from, then we can reach the unmanifest in just a few steps. Maybe it is one step, or maybe it will be 2 or 3 steps, depending on where you are dimensionally. This doesn't really matter. So you just have to ask, where does my awareness come from, and what is beyond that? Who is beyond that? And then you can open a conversation for yourself with that, which is beyond, when you come to the ultimate thing, from where your awareness is emanated. Because the awareness is the awareness of this God self. And beyond the awareness, there's usually the potentiality. And sometimes there's emanated potentiality, like the infinite white light, but beyond that there will be the unmanifest. And then you can open up a conversation with that, because you can kind of ping questions to the unmanifest, and the unmanifest, the potentiality, will pong the answers right into your mind, and you will know the voice of God as that voice within your own mind. If you're not asking for that voice in particular, then you might be dealing with many thought streams, many voices that come from this complex picture plane, and not all of these voices are necessarily in line with what the God would tell you. Some beings, they are separate from God, and they are still creative, so they're creating imagery and creations that are not loving. And because they are the children of God, they have the free will to do so. But if you pick up on these thought streams, then definitely they will be sort of in contrast to what God would share with you directly. So it is important to go directly and not take it from me, even though I am sharing this message from my own conversation. I had my own conversation with the unmanifest, and it expressed itself to my own maturity and terms and terminologies that I will be able to understand, and they would activate my understanding, my knowing in the best possible way. But I'm an individual, and you are a child of God in the same sense and in the same quality that I am. So you should try and go and talk to it directly. So the inquiry into the awareness and beyond awareness is a shortcut to get to the unmanifest. And once you open up that stream, once you open up that dialogue, once you open up that inquiry, it gets more like in this human existence, practice just makes things easier, and it becomes like a second nature. Everything that you repeat becomes like a second nature. So you can always then have this conversation, and when you're having this conversation, that is essentially what used to be called prayer. So first you need to open up the stream and allow the potentiality to be manifest in your own mindscape, in your own body, in your own emotional body, so you can feel that when it gives you frequencies as feelings, as emotions, so you can hear that or understand that when it talks to you through your own language, your own thought stream, and you can even allow it to come as its Shakti or life force or emanated energy into your body and give you different types of activations from a quantum, atomic, molecular and DNA level up to emotional level and mental level. Physically also, it can transform you. It can transform something that has been distorted, something that has been an ailment, a disease. It can become corrected effortlessly for you. So this will change the way how we, as a civilization, think about disease and ailment and healing, because you have the ultimate potentiality, and it will give you anything that you request, because it loves you and it cares for you, and it wants you to try out everything and have everything. So even if you go against it and if you go against yourself, it will not interfere with you. But ultimately, laws of this universe will keep you capped on certain levels if you are not going to the direction of cohesion, of unification. So it is our best endeavor in this lifetime to know God.